It's the story of a poor boy. I'm Mikey.
I'm Matt.
And this week, Liverpool go into an international break on maximum points after beating Leicester away 2-1.
That's a great thing to say, isn't it? Maximum points.
Maximum points. So it's maximum points, 1 goal conceded, 9 scored. It's pretty much the perfect start to the season, and if we're very honest, Liverpool haven't really got going yet, except for West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham, we look good. The other 3 games, less and less controlling of the game, I think. But without giving up any really good chances, bar Alisson's brain fart, but we'll get to that. It's always been the sign of a good team to play badly and win. We haven't been giving up good shots on target. We haven't been... Like, the midfield, we might be losing the battle for the last 3 games, or, like, coming off the gas a little bit. But the defence has been sound.
Yeah.
Absolutely sound.
No, definitely. That's an important thing to raise straight off, is that whilst Liverpool were not comfortable against Leicester by any means, the defence very rarely see a moment where we're like, oh my god, they're going to score here, there's a chance for Wes Morgan in the second half, which he really should score. There's an absolutely incredible block from Joe Gomez when James Maddison fancies a chance, works past Virgil van Dijk, and I mean, it's a great effort, fantastic challenge. I'm still pretty convinced Alisson, it's going straight to Alisson, if I'm honest, but Joe Gomez wasn't to know that. And then obviously there is their goal as well. But yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. Liverpool go in at half time 2-0 up.
Yeah, after only really probably playing 20 minutes good football. Over 25, Leicester dominated the ball, but again, they didn't really threaten. They had about 1 shot in the first half that drew the save from Alisson, and then Gomez cleared, but that was it.
This is the difference between good teams like Leicester and top teams like Liverpool.
Yeah. In
the fact that Liverpool have the ball, as we say, we're probably, if we're honest, we're probably only dominating this game for 20 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes at the start, and then 5 minutes just before half time, I think.
Yeah, and if we're very honest about it, that's it for Liverpool. But it's how we use the possession that we've got. Liverpool got in 2-0 up because of that possession, whereas Leicester just could not find a way through. Maybe it's a different story if Jamie Vardy's playing, but they just looked like a team who were very short of ideas when they got forward, and whether that's down to what Leicester were lacking or what Liverpool were doing, I guess we won't know until we play them at Anfield, really. But what we can say is that Leicester probably do not score in this game if we don't give them a goal.
No.
And, the first 45 minutes, Leicester create very little at all, really. We score after 10 minutes, Sadio Mane, with his 4th goal in 4 games. He's looking pretty good for that Player of the Year shout that
especially with Keita getting dropped.
That's interesting, that Naby didn't start. I suppose we'll talk about that first, I suppose, because that's the first thing that we all see, isn't it, the team sheet. I suppose when the teams come through, there's a bit of trepidation, should we say, about Henderson coming back in for Keita. Is it just a case of maybe he's still not quite used to it, the intensity of it? Like, whilst he's been playing it for Leipzig, he's maybe not used to the full intensity that we play at compared to Leipzig.
Yeah. He wasn't especially good against Brighton last week.
Pretty anonymous.
So he got brought off on the 65th minute, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
So maybe, it's just Keita's maybe dropped out of form a little bit. Henderson's ready to come back in. This is why we've got the squad that we've got, so we can rotate. All these people thinking Fabinho and Keita signing spelled the end for Jordan Henderson. I couldn't be more wrong, especially today. It's just rotation. We'll see Shaqiri coming in for some starts over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
We'll see Fabinho getting eased in.
Yeah, there's talk today about Fabinho. Apparently, he's not far off.
Yeah.
His first start. I think what that translates as to me is League Cup. Maybe
that sounds good.
Maybe even Champions League. I mean, he might not be used to Liverpool's intensity, but what he is used to is the intensity of playing against a team like PSG.
Well, it'd be exactly the team like
Exactly.
PSG.
We'll get to that again later. But yeah, I mean, it is interesting to see Keita not starting. As you say, there are options in this Liverpool team now, and it doesn't always have to be play your best 11. We saw from Jurgen last year, he's not scared to rotate. And if he feels that Naby Keita's not at 100%, then he's fully entitled to use Liverpool's captain instead. The only thing I had with it, and it is only slight, is that I was very disappointed that we see Henderson and Wijnaldum swap.
Yes, I was interested to see if Wijnaldum would keep the holding role and Henderson would be more box to box, but that wasn't the case.
I think Liverpool would have benefited from playing a more with Wijnaldum deeper, just purely because that's what we've seen them do so far. Henderson's a very much when you're in control kind of player. You really see the benefit when you're playing at Anfield, for example, with Jordan Henderson at holding midfield. Whereas Gini Wijnaldum's proved himself this year that he just puts himself about. Yeah. And when things aren't going Liverpool's way completely, as we saw, then Gini Wijnaldum can have this influence and this presence, which is a buzzword of mine this season. And we see that later on when Keita does get introduced after 71 minutes. We see Henderson come off and we see Wijnaldum go deep again. And I think Liverpool just see the game through from that position because of that change. Just to have that little bit of extra... I want to say... and this isn't going to be me slating Jordan Henderson, but I just trust Gini Wijnaldum to hold the ball a bit more. I expect Henderson to use the ball better, but I expect Wijnaldum to hold on to it more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
Yeah. Leicester were pressing us very high all game. Their goal comes about because of the high press that they were playing. And when Gini Wijnaldum's more likely to take the ball out of midfield and lead the team forward in that kind of way rather than using the ball, and let's be honest, playing it backwards because we had to. That's just the way that the game was going, unfortunately. But yeah, it was the change I would have made. I was made up that Jurgen made it. But yeah, Mane's goal comes about good work from Robertson.
Really, really good work from Robertson. He just bulldozes his way through players, doesn't he?
He did. It's very impressive. It's really weird that Mo Salah's the one who gives him the ball in the first place. Yeah. From when you think of where Robertson picks that ball up, that is literally the last place I would expect to see Mo Salah. It just shows the fluidity in our front three, I guess, that Mo can pop up there.
Yeah, and leave the other two up top ready for the break. It's just... Yeah, it's just a very fluid front three, and one of them will always drop deep to try and help out with the ball. Yeah, and leave the other two up top, I guess.
Yeah. Did you think it was a foul for Robertson?
Nah.
Would you think it was a foul if it was the other way around?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I think it's robust, should we say? But
it's a captain's tackle.
It is. It's a Scottish captain's tackle. It's quite lucky from Mane.
It's a little bit fortunate because it bounces off. Is it Maguire? Yeah. Bounces into Mane and lands quite nicely.
Do you know what? While you've mentioned him, I thought he was fucking terrible this weekend.
Yeah, I didn't really see much of him.
His forward distribution looked good.
Yeah.
Passing the ball out, but in terms of marking, every time anyone got near him, he looked off the pace completely. Yeah. Firmino skims him so easily at the start of the game.
And Firmino was playing like he had lead in his boots. Yeah. So that's saying something.
It's interesting you say that because Firmino, for me, was hugely frustrating, but he was doing the right kind of things just without the right product at the end.
What I said there was maybe a little bit harsh. I don't think Firmino played particularly badly. I think it was more that Leicester had their game plan, and that game plan was to press the shit out of Firmino. Yeah. Like, there were players on him at all times. There was a point in the second half where he came deep to get the ball, and there must have been about 3 players around him. He tried to use his close control and get it round him, but he just couldn't because there were just too many of them. And in that sense, I thought Leicester were really, really good at nullifying Firmino. But then scores from a set piece, doesn't he?
He does.
He can't press from a set piece.
He does. It's very interesting, our second goal, because immediately prior to it we see Virgil van Dijk possible penalty appeal marked by James Maddison, who is then somehow marking Firmino for the second corner as well. It's just,
maybe they have different strategies for different sides that the corner's taken from, maybe.
But if you don't trust Maddison to do, if I wouldn't want Maddison, however good he was, right, I wouldn't want Maddison marking Virgil van Dijk at any point. My first instinct would be, all right, what's Harry Maguire doing here? You go and mark Virgil van Dijk, and you just mark him out the game. At the same time, I'd probably say Liverpool's next attacking threat from a corner is Bobby Firmino, in all fairness. Like Joe Gomez, I don't think he's ever scored for Liverpool yet.
No.
So I would probably say it is Firmino, and yet it's Maddison picking him up again. It's really strange that they've marked him. They've used Maddison to mark both of those players. Good header.
It is a really good header. But he's somehow left completely free when the ball comes. And I think I read that only 2 teams conceded more set-piece goals than Leicester last season. So this is obviously a problem under Claude Puel's Leicester team. And I guess we just exploited that, because we did use our corners pretty damn well. We could have scored a couple.
Yeah. It's enough for me to consider putting James Milner in my fantasy team.
Yeah.
That way. I haven't yet, but it's enough for me to think about it.
Fair enough.
So we go in 2-0 up. We haven't by any means set the world alight in the first half, but it's a 2-goal lead. As you've already said, that's the attitude of champions, really, isn't it? It's the thing that Alex Ferguson's Man United team did for years. So now Liverpool could see through this second half with no problems whatsoever, but it's. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. It's really poor.
Yeah,
it's not ideal, and it's something that we spoke about at length last week. It's something that we're going to have to get used to with Alisson. My issue is, at no point did it look on. I don't mind him doing that, but at no point was Iheanacho in a position where that turn made sense. Going forward further towards the corner flag made more sense than spinning around at that point. So if you are going to dribble out, go past them, kind of thing, but you don't need to be Cruyffing when he's coming from that angle. Do you know what I mean? It was a really strange decision, but Virgil van Dijk has played him into all kinds of shite. Yeah,
it's a poor pass from him. It's poor generally in the midfield area.
I thought Gomez did well in that situation, though.
He did. He got it back under control. He got it to Van Dijk, and he thought it was relatively safe, and then it goes back into him. Credit where credit's due. This is all coming from Leicester's pressing. They were relentless second half.
Iheanacho only comes on 2 minutes beforehand as well, so you have that aspect as well of this is a player who's just been introduced into the game, and they come in with that intensity straight away where they're looking to do something.
Yeah.
And Iheanacho covers all of 40-50 yards to get to Alisson. But then our goalkeeper decides to try something that never really looked on, as I've said. But David Priest, who I've spoke about at length, and he speaks a lot of sense when he talks about goalkeepers. He says that Joe Gomez maybe should be shown for it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
He's not helping him out, is he? Van Dijk's passed it back to Alisson and just hoping that Alisson's going to deal with it and it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But neither of the centre backs are helping him really. Yeah. Van Dijk with a poor pass and Gomez not running into a position where he can be passed to. There is a screen grab where he is pointing to where he wants to be passed to, but Alisson can't see that.
He's more concerned about getting the ball under control.
Well, he's trying to keep the ball in for one, and then he's trying to get it under control, and then he's aware that Iheanacho's running down. If he was in that position, he maybe would have been able to see him.
In all fairness to Joe Gomez, and this is just like devil's advocate, the game's moving very quickly.
Oh yeah,
very, very quickly, and Iheanacho covers a lot of ground very quickly.
he is quick.
And for Gomez to immediately step out into that space would have been an impressive, like, when you think about it, really, for him to read a situation like that. And the other thing
if we're going to play with a keeper like this and do pass backs to the keeper like that, I think maybe the centre backs need to be a little bit more switched on in those situations. It was interesting what Klopp said afterwards, saying that he's not too disappointed with Alisson because, like, we still won, it's fine. He knows he's not going to do it again. I think Alisson came out on Twitter and says, like, look, I'd be an idiot to say I'm going to do that again. I'm going to be more sensible with the ball. But Klopp said that he needs his centre-backs to stop treating the goalkeeper like a solution and treat it more like an option. So play the ball to the keeper if the ball is on and good, but don't use him as a get-out-of-jail card, which is what Van Dijk was doing, I think.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to mention about Joe Gomez, though, is he is very close to tackling Iheanacho.
Yeah.
He's very, very close. I mean, Iheanacho makes a lot of ground up. Joe Gomez makes up even more. And also, Alisson's not far away from saving the shot either.
He actually... someone got in his way as he was running back.
I think it's Iheanacho. I think
yeah.
it's Iheanacho or Joe Gomez. One of the two, basically, just get across him.
Yeah.
And it just means he can't quite get there. He's very close.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's a stupid situation. Yeah. We can call ourselves unlucky, but we shouldn't really put ourselves in that situation.
No, and I do firmly believe Leicester don't score if we don't give them...
No, they didn't have a sniff otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, they had a lot of the ball, but again, they weren't particularly using it well. Yeah. You can have a lot of the ball and play it around your centre halves. It doesn't mean that you're getting anywhere up the pitch.
Yeah, we had 2 spells when we were decent, and we scored 2 goals.
Yeah, that point you made about it should be, it shouldn't be a solution passing back to the goalkeeper. Whilst I do agree, it is something that Liverpool do look to use quite a fair bit. And at the time, what else is on?
True. But I guess in that situation, the pass back to the keeper has to be better.
Definitely.
That's the fault of Van Dijk.
This is the second week as well that Virgil van Dijk has played Alisson into trouble. He did it against Brighton as well with a very, very poor pass. Not enough weight on it, which is very unlike him as well because his passing range is one of his best features.
Maybe it's because he's more used to passing forwards.
Maybe. The other thing as well is that there's a lot of criticism about Alisson at the moment in that fact that he should be going long with that kick. My argument with that is that, let's say the trick comes off. Okay, what he's done there, he is completely alleviated the pressure on himself and the defence because he's just given himself a little bit more time. He's made Leicester look fucking stupid as well. And then he can choose, with his passing range as well, which is incredible for a goalkeeper.
Oh, yeah.
He can choose the right ball. Whereas if he goes long straight away there, all you get is the Leicester fans, all their backs go up.
Yeah, and then another phase of Leicester attack.
Yeah. And you'd literally just hear you'd hear the roar, you'd hear like, come on, because they forced Liverpool into a mistake. Exactly, we do. And I think the idea of Liverpool keeping the ball, that's why Alisson's gone about this the way he has.
It's why we bought him as well.
Yeah, and
like let's not like mince words about it. We bought him for his on the ball technique and his shot stopping ability and his distribution.
Yeah.
We need him to use those things.
Exactly.
If we're going to win this league, we need him to use those things.
Yeah, and other than that, he has a very steady game as well.
Yeah.
What do you make of the criticism from Liverpool Twitter about Jordan Henderson's role in the goal?
Virgins that live in my mum's basement, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do I need to say any more?
I mean, I wouldn't mind talking about it a little
course,
bit.
Yeah.
Because it's very interesting that, I mean, we've defended Henderson quite a lot on here before, but it's very interesting that it does come about from Jordan Henderson passing backwards, not once but twice. He gives it back to Gomez, who then gives it to Henderson, who then gives it back to Van Dijk instead. But my issue would be, there's not much else on because of the intensity of the press.
Yeah.
And the idea of, I'm not for one, right, this is going to sound like a brag. This was a summer school I went to. This is a summer school I went to when I was a kid, right, at the Liverpool Academy. And the one thing that they said at the time was that it is always better to go backwards than lose possession.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to go back to go forward. And maybe Jordan Henderson's a little bit guilty of buying into that school of thought a little bit too often. But Liverpool would lose the ball if we tried something stupid in that situation. As we did.
And then there's like 3-through.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the decision to play back to the centre halves, when you actually look what else is on, there's not much. And I think any other midfielder of Liverpool's would have made that same call. It is literally down to the fact that Van Dijk has overhit the pass by 5 yards.
Yeah.
If that has a little bit less on it, Alisson probably does just twat it up the pitch. But because he's got to take that extra touch to calm the play down, to calm the ball down, get it under his spell, and then twat it up the pitch, or decide to skim Iheanacho, it's worked out the way it has. It's just one of those things. But I think blaming Jordan Henderson, it's very, very easy to do at any point, isn't it? Jurgen Klopp obviously doesn't believe it because he's just given him a new contract, new long-term deal today.
Oh, but Twitter's fuming.
I bet your Twitter is absolutely livid. I think the reason Twitter dislikes him so much
because he's not Steven Gerrard.
It's because he's not Steven Gerrard, and he is Liverpool captain whether you like it or not. But that won't change at any point soon, and the reason that won't change is because Jurgen Klopp doesn't believe in captains. He's proved it many a time. He proved it in pre-season when he made Alberto Moreno captain when Virgil van Dijk was stood next to him. It's Liverpool's captain is literally whoever's made the most appearances for Liverpool at this point in time. And I personally don't agree with that. I think captaincy does hold a special place still, particularly at Liverpool when you look at the last person to wear it full time.
I do think Henderson takes it seriously as well, and the dressing room, because they do look to him as the leader. It's
maybe a bit of an English thing as well. In English football, the captaincy is looked on as quite a massive honour, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Particularly for the national team, everyone's always raving about whoever's got the captaincy. Well, maybe they don't deserve it because they're not playing well, or maybe John Terry. But I think Henderson does everything off the pitch that a captain you would want in a captain, really.
Yeah, definitely.
His programme notes the other day, talking about a local lad who died, Prescott Cable's left back, Jack Ryden. He's talking about him, and it's just a heartfelt thing. And you saw it with Sean Cox situation last season as well. He gets it. Do you know what I mean? He just gives back. He's from a similar area.
Yeah.
In the country.
I can't think of anyone in the squad at the minute that can represent the club as good as he does in that squad.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. I'm a massive fan of Virgil van Dijk, and Trent Alexander-Arnold's about 3 years too young for it. So.
Oh, he'll be captain one day. Don't worry.
Can't wait.
Okay, when he lifts number 8.
So Liverpool from that point onwards, then from the Alisson mistake onwards, nothing really. The game kind of fizzles out. Nothing really happens. Liverpool do a really, really good job of it.
Yeah, they just kind of control the game. Leicester keep knocking on the door, but we just don't get past that defence again. Yeah. Really. It's a good barometer for the rest of the season that we can see out a result. Yeah. We haven't left second gear really, bar West Ham.
Even then, we didn't. West Ham made it very easy for us.
They are bad. That's such a terrible call, Mikey.
Well, Crystal Palace aren't great.
They've won a game, I think, or scored a goal or something.
Yeah,
they have points.
Yeah, all right, fuck off. Yeah, all right, terrible shout, but whatever.
But I think it's putting us in good stead for the rest of the season, that showing that we can see results out against Leicester's a decent team. We've gone away to Leicester and away to Crystal Palace. They are pretty damn decent teams. Like I put them on the same level of Watford away, which we saw Spurs struggle against this weekend.
I mean, there's an interesting. I was having a little think about this yesterday, and Liverpool are on maximum points now, alongside Chelsea and Watford. Watford, have done it tremendously well. But you look at Chelsea's start of the season, and if we're honest, Watford will fizzle out at some point unless they do a Leicester somehow. But you look
if we finish second behind Watford, I'm quitting football.
You look at Chelsea's start of the season, right? Everyone's saying Liverpool haven't really done much this season, but Chelsea's start of the season, Huddersfield away. Huddersfield have been terrible this season so far.
Yeah.
And Chelsea didn't look great in that game, as I spoke about. They've played Arsenal at home, which to me is a much easier fixture than Leicester away or Crystal Palace away at this point in the season.
I would say so.
Then Newcastle away, where Rafa literally just went, "All right, go on, have the ball, see what you can do," and they come within a hair's breadth of not winning that game. And then Bournemouth yesterday. Don't get me wrong, Bournemouth play good football this season, but from what I saw, Bournemouth could have taken something there. And it takes until the 72nd minute for Pedro to actually break down Bournemouth.
So I think I posted it in the chat last night. We didn't look good against Leicester.
Yeah.
Chelsea didn't look good either, but Chelsea looked beatable. Bournemouth got between their lines and behind their lines a fair few times. Leicester never did that to us. Chelsea's defence...
Arsenal were the one who properly got at Chelsea.
Yeah. But for Bournemouth to be able to do it as well shows that this Chelsea team are nowhere near as unbeatable as us.
And I think we should see that come as the season progresses. Obviously, their next game's Cardiff. It's not going to be particularly...
I brought in a Chelsea defender in my fantasy team specifically for
fair.
that. Although Cardiff did do 2 goals. 2 whole goals.
2 whole goals. Chelsea's next hard game is us.
Yeah.
In the league, really. I mean, they've got West Ham away. West Ham have proven me wrong completely.
But by Christmas, he might have a side sorted because there's just a lot of different things going on in that team.
Chelsea's fixture list is so nice, It's just everything's so spread out and just exactly how you'd want it. But we aren't talking about Chelsea. We're talking about Liverpool.
We are.
And one thing that does happen, as I've already mentioned, is Naby Keita comes on, but alongside him, Xherdan Shaqiri comes on as well.
Yes.
And I think Xherdan Shaqiri is absolutely pivotal to that game, in the fact that nobody seems to get hold of the ball and frustrate defenders as much as Xherdan Shaqiri does in that game.
I described him as a pest when he came on. About 5 minutes after he came on, because he just would not stop running. He would not stop harassing the Leicester defence. And he just kept getting the ball and just doing cheeky little dinks around people. Yeah. He must be a nightmare to play against. And again, he's such massive. A weirdly shaped body.
And he's massive. Yeah, he's massive, but not massive at the same time. It's really strange.
He's got the body of a scaled-up toddler.
I think he's just in that kind of cameo. You do see that there's more to Xherdan Shaqiri than just fucking blamming in 25-yarders on his left peg. Yeah. He's got a physicality about his game. He's got a cleverness as well. That can't be underestimated. That he doesn't go to put the ball in the box. He literally goes to run the clock down, which is something Liverpool don't particularly do often. Liverpool aren't renowned for that. I mean, look at when we played Crystal Palace a couple of years ago, and we're 4-2 up, and we've Palace are on the front foot, and we send fucking Joel Matip and Dejan Lovren on a counter attack.
Yeah,
and all of us are dying. Although we do have
horrible.
We do have one brain fart in this game.
We do.
It really fucking pissed me off.
I think I know what it is.
So Xherdan Shaqiri wins a corner. We play a short corner, keep it in the corner. Win a throw in. We win a throw in, and then put a long throw in the box. For the corner, Virgil van Dijk comes up, Joe Gomez comes up. We don't bother using them. We get a fucking throw in. We put Gomez on it, and then he lobs it into no one. I was sat there tearing my hair out. I could not believe that we'd done it. Like, it was just, it was literally putting all the pressure straight back on us.
Yeah. Well, we are Liverpool. We don't do things easy.
Was that the moment that you thought I was talking about?
Yes, that was the moment, because it really confused me as well. Why?
Carragher mentioned it, and
and
I was like, oh, thank God someone else mentioned it.
I think it's just the fact that maybe some players are on different wavelengths. Maybe half a team thought we can get another goal. Half a team thought, okay, let's just run down the clock.
It's probably because we've got a throwing coach and we want to use it.
Well, yeah, that too.
Maybe.
Get our money's worth.
Yeah, maybe.
It was a good throw, to be fair. Just straight at the keeper.
He's got a decent throw on him. The only problem is he's a centre-half now.
Yeah.
It would have been nice when he was a right-back last season, but he's a centre-half now. I don't really want our centre-half fucking taking throw-ins, to be honest. I want him being fucking boss.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, man of the match.
It's got to be Joe Gomez.
It's got to be Joe Gomez. But for, I mean, when we were saying before about could he have helped Alisson out, we're not putting any blame on Joe Gomez at all. It's completely Alisson and Virgil van Dijk. Between them have fucked it up. Joe Gomez was absolutely outstanding. The block from James Maddison, which we've already spoke about, is one that Jamie Carragher used to make, and everyone would be like, oh my God, I love you so much. Joe Gomez, his ceiling is... It just seems to be getting higher and higher and higher, which is...
We forget how young he still is, because he's been around for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
For him to be our starting centre-back is really, really good. Also, I just want to say, there's one thing that he did that I don't think is getting enough attention, because that last-minute block was amazing and should get all the attention. But in the first half, for him to keep pace with Demarai Gray... put pressure on Demarai Gray, take him wide and make that shot not as good as it could have been. Like, that was really, really good from a centre-half. To keep pace with a winger playing as a striker.
There was a clip as well, match that they showed. It was in the second half, and it's early on in the second half. And there's basically just a point where I think Ben Chilwell picks the ball up and looks to send it behind Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
And Joe Gomez reads it, and he's in the middle of the pitch. And he just reads this, and he beats Gray to the ball comfortably.
It is mad how quick he is.
And did you see the Van Dijk versus Gomez, their teammates thing on Sky?
Yeah. That was pretty good, actually.
It was.
For one of those pre-game fluff things, that was quite good. I liked it.
It reminded me of the quote from Klopp about Joe Gomez's beach body muscles.
Yeah.
And we all said it at the start of pre-season, he looks like he's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And he is so fast but still so strong. I think we were all, if you remember Brendan Rodgers' last season, Jurgen Klopp's first season, we were all very excited about a young left back at the time called Joe Gomez, and he went away on international duty, and it's taken him a while to reach those heights again.
Please, Gareth Southgate, look after him, please.
Just fucking leave him at home, please. It is hugely exciting. It's difficult to see where Dejan Lovren does get back in.
It's really interesting to see that Joel Matip is fit and is not getting a sniff, not getting anywhere near. Like, he came on in what was it, the 80th minute?
It wasn't the 80th. It was later than that.
Later than that, but
it was. I will tell you.
But he came on for Trent to go through at the back.
89th.
Or to go through at the back, or Gomez switched to right back.
No, it was three at the back. It was three at the back, and I think Milner went to right wing.
But I think that is quite stark in that Matip is definitely below Joe Gomez in the pecking order now.
Yeah, I would probably say the pecking order is Van Dijk and Gomez, and then Lovren and Matip.
Well, Lovren's got to play his way into that defensive partnership.
I think
he's got to.
Yeah, I think Klopp's a bit annoyed with him as well. To be fair, at this point in time, but it's Jurgen Klopp is very much about playing people who are in form, and giving them their opportunity if they've earned it. And Joe Gomez has earned it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and if he wasn't about that, I mean, there are people saying that Lovren's going to come straight back in. If Klopp wasn't about playing people who've earned their chance, Trent Alexander-Arnold wouldn't be starting this season. Nathaniel Klein would be starting this season.
This is true.
And I think, I just think that with that partnership at the moment, and with the age of the defence as well, which, I mean, Van Dijk's the oldest defender, senior defender there, 27. It's ridiculous that how long we could see this back five as it is now as Liverpool's first choice back five. and hopefully building forwards as well. I mean, we've conceded 1 goal this season. It's very, very exciting. It's the first time I've been excited about a defence in a long while, since the days of Rafa.
It is nice.
Yeah. This all started with me saying who was man of the match. Yes, Joe Gomez was definitely man of the match. He was incredible, and long may it continue. So elsewhere this weekend then, Spurs dropped points against Watford.
Watford remain unbeaten, and Tottenham have lost that crown, which is very nice.
I thought Tottenham were very average as well.
Yeah, well, they've looked average for all the games so far this season. They haven't blown anyone away. Lucas Moura looked really, really good against United.
He looked dangerous yesterday.
Yeah, he did. But like the rest of the team, not so much. Harry Kane, pretty much anonymous.
Can I ask you something about Harry Kane?
Sure.
When was the last time you were impressed by Harry Kane? Genuinely impressed by Harry Kane. You know how you can
scored
watch...
a good goal against Arsenal a year ago, I think, maybe.
You know, you can watch. I said this to you the other day, and I mean, Harry Kane, I'm not denying he's a world-class goal scorer, but the fact is, I'd never watch Harry Kane do anything and think only Harry Kane could do that. Whereas I do watch Eden Hazard. I still think he's overrated, but I do watch Eden Hazard. I do watch Sergio Aguero. I do watch Mohamed Salah.
Yeah.
And think only you would score that goal in the Premier League. Kevin De Bruyne as well. Do you know what I mean? And you know the way that people talk about Harry Kane as if he's like the best things in sliced bread. I think he's been very average this season.
Yeah.
And I'm not buying into the whole "it's August" thing because it's shite and I hate it. Watford are very impressive though.
They really, really were, and the standout had to be Deeney, especially the second half. He was just absolutely everywhere. The energy of that man was absolutely ridiculous. He outmuscled and outpaced Davinson Sanchez and made him look like an absolute mug.
Yeah, and I'm very pleased for Troy Deeney as well because he went through a difficult time last season.
Yeah,
he very publicly came out and said I fell out of love with the game, which it's mad to think, really, isn't it, that people who are playing at the top of their profession can just fall out of love with football.
It must be more common than we think, you know.
Yeah, and
at the end of the day, it is a job. You can fall out of love with your job. You can start hating your job. You can.
And this is it. I mean, and it's something you've mentioned in the past, but you know, these are human beings at the end of the day, and it's very easy for people to become disenchanted with what's going on.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem with us not really understanding that is that we idolise players, and we try and watch all the ins and outs of what's going on with the team, and we think of them as part of the team rather than like as an actual person. And then we have like fantasy footballs, and we can buy and sell, and it's like, oh yeah, he's not doing good, I'm getting rid of him. Like it's dehumanizing. It's not treating them like people. And Deeney did have a tough time of it last year, and it's good to see him. He looked over the moon with his goal. Scored a winning goal against Spurs.
Yeah.
First time Watford have beat Spurs in the Premier League.
Wouldn't want to guess.
I think it is the first time they've beaten in the Premier League.
I missed that if it was mentioned yesterday. Yeah. So, it's interesting what you said there about fantasy football. Like,
it's something I've thought about quite a lot, to be honest.
It's the same as FIFA does it to a point. Footy Manager does it. Ultimate Team, you know, you just kind of get rid of... Ultimate Team's the worst for it, I think, because you just kind of sit there and you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake, I've just got this player again on swap kind of thing. But we've always had that with, even when we were kids, you know, with football stickers and stuff like that. You're just collecting swaps of these players, and it's just, you never really think to, oh yeah, this fella has a dog he has to take out for a walk. Do you know what I mean?
It's weird, isn't it? You don't think of them as like the same as like me or you.
Yeah. This fella needs to go to Asda and buy a couple of bits after training. So that it's strange. Like, it is strange though. It just doesn't really enter anyone's school of thought, really. I mean, it's one thing that the City of Liverpool apparently is pretty good for, and the fact that we just kind of apparently leave well enough alone. It's why Xabi Alonso used to like living here so much.
Yeah, just let him get on with it.
Yeah, you'd see people and just be like, "Oh, you're right, lad," and that's it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And I think I'd like to say I've been pretty good for that so far. Whenever I've seen a Liverpool player, I've just been like, "You're right, lad." That's it.
Well, you used to work at Morrison's, and Rush used to come in, didn't
he? Phil Thompson came in. Rush didn't come in, but Phil Thompson came in, and I used to talk all the time with Ian Callaghan. I'm not saying which Morrison's, because I don't want some proper weirdo just turning up and being like, "Is Ian Callaghan in here?" Yeah, but yeah, he used to come in all the time. When I worked there, Liverpool were just getting through the Balotelli stage, and he had nothing but bad words to say about Mario Balotelli. It was fantastic to get like honest insight from a man who played a record number of times from Liverpool. But yeah, it was strange. He'd just walk in and just be like doing his shop. It's like no one's played for my club more than this man.
It's surreal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is definitely. Elsewhere this weekend, as we've already mentioned, Chelsea pick up points. United get back on track somewhat with a 2-0 win over Burnley. Burnley are looking so much trouble.
Yeah, well, we don't have to worry about Europe anymore, do we?
I'm not talking about United this week because we do it every week.
Yeah, that's fair.
Burnley. Looking so much trouble. As you say, European football's gone.
So maybe they can get it back under control, but maybe it's one season too many with the same players and with Sean Dyche. Who knows?
Yeah, it is. It is interesting. I don't know whether they put all their eggs in the European basket, to say the least. But I think, given time, they'll start grinding results out again. But it's interesting how last season United go to Burnley, and I'm like, do you know what? They could drop points there. Liverpool go to Burnley, and I'm like, Liverpool could drop points.
Yeah.
This season, I mean, they played United this weekend, and I was, for not 1 minute was I like, United are going to lose here.
Lukaku manages to score twice and is not even playing well.
Yeah, exactly. United finished the game on 10 men as well. I hope they do. I hope, I don't know. It'd be nice to see them do well, purely because I like the model that they use, and the fact that they were just like, listen, we're probably going to get relegated again here, so what we're going to do is we're not going to go over the top. We're just going to add where we can, and if we do stay up, then we'll just add slowly but surely. But if we do end up going back down, we're not going to get into a point where, you know, we are in financial trouble.
We're not going to do a Sunderland.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we need to put the security of the club first.
Yeah,
which I think not enough teams do. I think Cardiff are looking at that model this season, apparently.
Huddersfield possibly as well.
Huddersfield is probably another one, yeah. Because you've seen so many teams go down and just stay down now.
Yeah, and get destroyed by going down.
Portsmouth are one. Blackpool in particular as well. It can.
Forest went down and have just been languishing down there for a long time. Leeds.
If you have the wrong attitude when you come up into the Premier League, then it can destroy the club.
Yeah,
and it can take them a while to rebuild. So I think it does make sense, and I've got a lot of time for teams using that method.
Yeah.
Not Newcastle, though, but who are using that method for different reasons. However,
I feel so bad for Rafa. I just want him to be happy. But he seems determined to not be happy. He seems determined to work for pricks.
He does. That's why I will be having a little bet on him to be the next West Ham manager. While we're on Newcastle, they play Man City on the weekend. They lose 2-1.
Yeah.
Man City bossed the game.
Oh yeah,
but they did not use the ball particularly well. They were not as ruthless as we expect Man City to be, and it takes an absolute fucking thunderbolt from Kyle Walker for Man City to win that game.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that they are human. Yeah, exactly. You know, they are prone to having occasional difficult game.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that we have to take a lot of heart in this season, is that Man City, as you've said before, it's very unlikely they're going to do what they did last season again. But if Newcastle had had more up front this game, Newcastle probably would have taken something from
Possibly.
this game.
Like if that Danny Ings transfer was to Newcastle rather than Southampton, who knows? Or if Newcastle kept Mitrovic.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he started the season on fire, hasn't he? Mitrovic, that's so impressive. Yeah, I mean, the goal that they do score is very, very simple. It's very straightforward. Again, it comes down Man City's left-hand side. There's a theme emerging here in the fact that Mendy can't defend. I think they're very get-outable.
That defence is, again, it doesn't look as sound as ours. I know we cocked up at the weekend, but we haven't been letting teams have chances like City have down that left-hand side.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is literally all I wanted to say about that game, to be fair, because I don't want to sit here and talk about other teams for ages. Shout out to Everton for being shite again this week.
I heard there were many boos. It was great.
I'm so happy. Apparently they got fucking very angry because of some changes that were made.
They weren't happy with... They hate Tom Davies. They hate Calvert-Lewin. But they love Lookman, even though he was desperate to leave. And Tom Davies and Calvert-Lewin, the only things they've ever said is how much they love playing for Everton.
Yeah.
So I think I was talking about it with my boss today. I think they just hate youth coming through, or hate anyone that has any kind of ceiling that's higher than Everton.
Tom Davies' ceiling is definitely not higher than Everton.
It was at first, and then they booed him into oblivion.
Maybe.
Just like Barkley.
Well, I mean, you just said as well, they do actually like Lookman. I think...
But he wanted to leave.
The cheering Lookman thing, I think they're giving Lookman a reason to want to stay.
Yeah.
But he has done nothing in football to suggest that he is better than Everton. I mean, he may well go to a team like Leipzig, and then he'll find himself back in the Premier League in a couple of years playing for, I don't know, like Stoke coming back in the Premier League or something like that. Do you know what I mean? He's not by any stretch, he's not proved that he's destined for the top of the game yet. It's really strange that he's decided he is.
They're just a strange club. I love them.
I think one argument for the Tom Davies stuff is that it's one thing having local lads come through. It's another thing them being very good at football. And I think it's dropped with them now. Do you know what I mean? It's dropped with them because they sat through years of Tony Ibbott being at Everton. Years of it. Yeah. And, the one properly good Scouser who's come through there fucked off very quickly to Manchester. I think there's been plenty of false dawns at Everton. James Vaughan's one who they look like they were getting the next best thing, and then it turns out that he's a championship quality footballer. Francis Jeffers is another one, where they were just like, yeah, he's going to be boss, and then he ended up being absolute shite. So the problem is they want instant success. They've got loads of money. They're getting a new stadium. Loads of money, quote.
New stadium, quote.
New stadium, quote. They've got a decent young manager, quote.
It's all right.
Their offices are in the Lava buildings now. That's not a quote, that just are. It's just... They're at a point where I think they think that this team is ready to go forward and do things. And basically, let's not beat around it. It's compete with Liverpool. That's all Everton's goal is at this point in time. It's compete with Liverpool and become not the other team in the city. They want to be Everton and Liverpool. Everton. They don't want to be Everton and Liverpool. They want Liverpool to fade into oblivion.
Of course.
But it's not going to happen whilst... It's not going to happen overnight. Excuse me. It's not going to happen overnight. Definitely. They have to accept it's going to take a long time. It took us a while to get it right, and we're at a point now where it looks finally like it is coming right.
Yeah.
I think
you've got to have patience with this kind of thing.
They should really follow our model, which would kill them. So,
that's
it
glorious.
Really
I love that.
Yeah. Imagine turning around and just being like, yeah, well, you had to do what we did, didn't you? You had to copy us. Lovely. Yeah. Right, so they drew 1-1.
What else happened? Bournemouth, Fulham. That was a good game. That was a good game of football.
Brighton, Fulham.
Yeah.
2-1. Yeah. I'll just read them out. The results. So Brighton, Fulham 2-2. Good game of football.
Really,
Fulham,
really good, actually.
Very disappointing from Fulham. To be 2-0.
But I'm liking the look of both those teams.
Yeah, I think they both stay up comfortably at this point.
Seri is just such a good signing from Fulham. How they pulled him and Schürrle off is just beyond me.
I think the fact that Mitrovic is still there as well and actually has taken to the Premier League this well so far, that needs saying, although he did give away a very cheap penalty.
It was daft as well.
Yeah. Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 0, which we've spoke about briefly. Chelsea did not look great. Crystal Palace 0, Southampton 2. Completely fucking destroyed my fantasy team this week. Because
I think you still did better than me.
I had such faith in Crystal Palace beating Southampton that I put in 2 Palace defenders and benched Danny Ings. And the one of the Palace defenders I put in was Wan-Bissaka, who gave away a penalty.
Yeah.
And obviously Ings, he does score. Ings is going to get a lot of goals this season if Southampton are to stay up anyway.
I'm so happy for him.
I think Ings, if he stays fit, breaks 10 goals this season comfortably.
Easy.
But it's about the service, though, mate. That's the thing. It's about the service that Ings gets.
True, but I imagine they'll be playing long balls up to the lone striker a lot, and like he does have pace that he can just play on the last man.
We don't know if it's still there. I can't remember the last time I saw Danny Ings and thought, fucking hell, you're quick.
Fair enough, but I reckon he can still play on the last man and
he's had a lot of injuries. We have to remember that. Everton, Huddersfield, we spoke about. West Ham, Wolves. Fuck me, sideways. What is going on at that club?
I don't know, but it's great, isn't it?
It is. It really is. To be fair, I mean, 93rd minute winner from Wolves. I mean, the team.
What a way to win!
The team West Ham put out is full of quality footballers as well.
Yeah, it's Wolves' first win as well, isn't
it? Yes, it is.
That's not a bad week for them, getting a draw at City and then beating West Ham.
Yep, it is impressive. West Ham really need to pull their fingers out if they want to, stay up at this rate. No points after the first 4 games. It's not great.
No,
it's really not great.
Good reading.
But I'm sure if he's given the time, Pellegrini will turn it around.
Oh, of course.
I don't expect West Ham to go on a winning streak this season, but they're going to break 40 points easily. It's just about whether or not they allow Pellegrini to build something, or whether they go with a younger manager and let him build something instead.
Or Rafa.
Yeah. City 2, Newcastle 1, which we spoke about. Then Cardiff 2, Arsenal 3.
That was a hell of a game.
I didn't watch it. I wasn't well, so I slept through it.
Can't believe Cardiff scored a goal. They've done a goal. They've done 2 goals.
2 goals.
It's ridiculous.
Did Lacazette play well, apparently?
Apparently, yes. Mkhitaryan was benched and only brought on for the last few minutes. Fuck my fantasy team. Arsenal are weird.
They really are.
How could that Cardiff team score 2 goals against them? Defensively, they are terrible still. And I said that they have no problems scoring goals. They have no problems going forwards. But that defense is still not good enough, and it is still not good enough.
Yeah. So Burnley. No. I agree. I agree now. Anyway,
good.
It's going to take a while to get right. Is all I'm saying.
Ask people lottery numbers.
I
don't even know how many lottery numbers there are. To be honest,
it's going to take a while for them to get it right.
Oh yeah. I'm not expecting instant success, but I'm expecting defense is the first thing you work on, especially in that Arsenal team.
You can say that all you like, but it took Liverpool a while to get it right, properly right.
True, but you could
City
see
City spent a fortune on defenders to try and sort that defence out when their attack was scoring goals freely. I'm not saying Arsenal are that good, but I agree Arsenal are at a point now where they can't win anything realistically. Well, they can't win anything massive this season because they just aren't at a point where they can be competitive with that defence. But I think, literally, I think you take Xhaka out that team and instantly it just becomes more impressive.
Probably.
I think straight away they have more success because if Torreira starts playing alongside Guendouzi, who you might well pull that face. He's 20 years old.
He is.
First weekend I thought he was terrible. I think he's growing on me. But I think Xhaka's a lot of the problems in that team, which is strange also, for one player to be.
Petr Cech.
Yeah, he's not aging well, is he?
He's not done well again.
Yeah,
and it just seems mad that they bought in Leno and are still not playing him.
Yeah, it really is. It really is strange, to be fair, that they just haven't bothered playing him at all. Especially when he comes in with a decent reputation from Germany as well.
And he must have thought he was coming in as starter. Maybe these first 4 games before the international break were just let's just get some results, and then after that we'll start properly doing the game plan with the altered lineup.
I mean, the other thing as well is, we can sit here and say that, but we have to remember that we're sitting there with Fabinho.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
In our
maybe you have to ease him in, but you'd think a goalkeeper needs less time.
But if he maybe needs to adapt to the physicality of the Premier League a little bit,
possibly.
You never know. It could be anything really. But yeah, it's really annoying Arsenal picking up points again. However, they are level on points with Man United, and when you think about the fucking catastrophic summer that apparently United have had, that's funny. How both of them are shite. So we've run through the other games, haven't we? So read you the Premier League table, where we care about anyway. Liverpool top, 12 points.
Liverpool top of the league.
Joined by Chelsea and Watford. Somewhat surprisingly, City sitting 4th, Tottenham 5th on 9 points.
Yeah.
All on 6 points at the moment. From 7th to 10th are Everton, Leicester, Arsenal, Man United, and then down at the bottom, Newcastle, Burnley on 1 point each, and West Ham. Newcastle will get more points once they start playing teams who aren't boss teams. Like, they've started the season with Tottenham, Cardiff, Chelsea, and Man City. They will start picking up points somewhere. Moving on from that. So we've hit the international break now. We're just, unfortunately, the momentum killer as it is. Liverpool got some news today though, and the fact that Andy Robertson's been made Scotland captain.
Yes, so happy for him.
I'm made up for him, and it does go to show how his meteoric rise just keeps going. He's now a very important player for Liverpool. He's one of the first names on the team sheet, I would assume.
Definitely.
At this point in time. And he clearly is for Scotland as well now. It's interesting because I didn't really have him pegged as much of a leader. I haven't really seen much from him at Liverpool to suggest that, but
might be something to do with the changing room dynamic that he has. I know he's very well liked in the Liverpool dressing room. Probably the same in Scotland.
See the video of him baking cakes with Van Dijk? And he's sitting there, he's taking a piss out the cooks, saying, "I'm going to take the undercooked chicken out." He does,
that was a great video, to be fair.
I am absolutely made up for him.
Yeah.
I really just want to see how high his ceiling is now. We spoke about Gomez already. I just really want to see how good he can be, because there aren't many better left backs than him at this point in time. All round, Mendy might be better going forward. Alonso might be better going
Robertson
forward.
Can defend.
But Robertson can defend. I didn't really want to talk about much about that, to be honest, because there's not really much to say about it. I don't really give a fuck about international football. I hope all the lads come back fit.
Definitely, yeah.
That'd be really, really nice.
Apparently, Fabinho is going to be starting at right back for Brazil.
He did play there for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Originally. Once.
Yeah.
I mean, we know we can play there.
Yeah. But apparently there's no senior right back in the Brazil team, so the theory is that Fabinho will be playing as right back.
I mean, I wouldn't be against
It'd be nice
that.
to see him get minutes. I'll watch the game and just see how he looks and that.
I'd much rather see him get minutes to hold midfield.
Oh,
but yeah,
of course.
I know what you mean.
Minutes is minutes.
Yeah.
Eggs is eggs.
They should have 3 at the back, really, Brazil, when you look at the team that they've got.
Yeah.
Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, and David Luiz. Got Miranda. Yeah, they got a fixture. They should play 3 at the back for Brazil.
Send your CV to Brazil at BrazilFA.com.
Yeah, that is the official email address, I'm sure. So, I mean, that was extraordinarily brief talking about the international duty.
But there's something else we need to talk about.
But there is something else I want to move swiftly on to, and I don't really want to talk all night, because we've both been in work all day and we're both shattered.
Yeah.
So, last Thursday, there was a draw for the Champions League.
And I got my wish. We got a hard group.
Liverpool end up with quite a difficult group. There's no getting away from it. Liverpool end up with PSG, Napoli, and Red Star Belgrade. It's a group in which there are 6 Champions League trophies. Liverpool have 5, and the other one's Red Star Belgrade. PSG and Napoli have 0. Now, the important thing about this group is that I think it is the most challenging group you can get, where it is still very much Liverpool are probably going to finish top in that group. I don't want to underestimate PSG. PSG are going to score goals for fun, which they always do. But they proved last season they were injury to Neymar away from just being shite. And Liverpool could have ended up with the Atletico Madrid and Dortmund group. That would have been a horrible group to end up with.
Yeah. Although the romanticism of getting Dortmund...
no, we've done it once.
I know.
We've done it once.
It's always nice.
It is always nice, but we've had that. We've had that. We're past that now.
Yeah, but I do think Atletico would have been
Atletico would have
possibly the hardest one.
Whereas we are going to play teams that are similar to ourselves.
Yeah.
In the top 2, I have no idea what to expect from Belgrade.
No idea.
Other than death threats, probably.
Oh, Jesus.
But I mean, we open up with PSG. We close at home. We close with Napoli at home.
Yeah.
It's ideal. As far as
they
I'm
are
concerned.
good. They are good fixtures to open and close on.
Yeah, and Napoli stinks of a famous European night if we need one as well.
Can't wait. Late November as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice and cold.
No, it's December.
Oh,
December.
Even colder.
Yeah, I think it's December 11th, and then we play Man United on the weekend afterwards. It has introduced quite a busy schedule. Well,
it was always going to be busy. It's just the
difficulty of the games. Of the schedule.
So we've got Spurs away in the league after we come back from the international break, haven't we? Then PSG at home.
Mm-hmm.
Then Southampton at home.
Yeah.
That for me, that is the first group of 3, because then after that we've got Chelsea at home
in the Carabao Cup.
I'm calling it the Carling Cup. Fuck it. And I think that's the game where we rest. We fuck the Carling Cup. We need to rest everyone there, because then after that we have Chelsea again away in the league, Napoli away. Napoli away? Yes, I'm doing good here. I don't have anything in front of me, by the way. I'm doing this from memory.
He's literally doing it from memory.
And then City at home.
Fucking hell, well done, lad.
Yeah. So that is a really, really difficult group of 7 games.
Yeah.
Just in there, and I think the way to navigate that is to treat it as 2 groups of 3.
If Liverpool come out of that group, so Liverpool are playing in that time 4 league games, 2 Champions League games, and a cup game. If Liverpool come out of that, still in the Carling Cup, fuck's sake, it's still in the Carling Cup,
the Milk Cup, Mikey.
Yeah. If Liverpool come out of that with still in the Carling Cup, with 4 points in the Champions League, and maybe 9 points from the Premier League, I think that is an extremely good return from that run of games. Knowing Liverpool, it will be Southampton at home that we lose.
Of course.
Out of those games. We'll fucking fly through the rest of them, no problem at all, and then Southampton will just be...
I'd rather lose that game than one against City.
Yeah, I think there's huge ramifications for the City game.
Yeah.
As there was last season.
Yeah. And but with that coming at the end of this group of 7 games, it's putting even more pressure on it, and just it's the time to test the squad. So the time up until the first international break, this is just about getting results. The time in between the first and the second international break, which is this group of 7 games, this is about testing the squad. Like seeing what we can do with it, seeing how this rotation is going to work, seeing what the players are like that are on the peripherals of the first team.
I think, the Carabao Cup game will be very interesting because I do see Liverpool... I assume Chelsea will do the exact same thing, but Liverpool's strength and depth, I think, as you've just said, that will be the first time that's properly tested, and Liverpool have a lot of it this time round as well. I mean, we'll probably see Mignolet come back and goal. Klein's got to play, Lovren's got to play, Matip's got to play, Moreno's got to play. I'm basically listing the team here.
Fabinho come back in.
Fabinho coming back in.
Lallana,
I assume we'll probably see Wijnaldum or someone stay in.
Yeah.
He likes a bit of consistency. And then, Shaqiri, Sturridge, and let's not forget Divock Origi's still at Liverpool Football Club right now.
Solanke is as well.
Dominic Solanke's still here, yeah, that's a good point. Ryan Brewster's been given the number 24, which would suggest he's probably going to be a bit more involved, if you believe that kind of thing. Can't really, because Marko Grujic was 16. But I think, we have a squad that can get through this run of games. I do expect to see a firm bit of rotation between these games as well. So, for example, maybe not a full rotation for the Chelsea game, but the Southampton game beforehand, we might well see Xherdan Shaqiri start that game, or Daniel Sturridge start that game. Just so when we play Chelsea away, we've got Mohamed Salah fit, or we've got Sadio Mane fit. But, I mean, bring it on. People who are flapping about this run of games, I mean, what are you in the Champions League for if it's not to play these? Last season, we get a group stage which is very straightforward, and we spoke about this last week, but we get a group stage that Liverpool have no problem coming through, really, other than a couple of difficult games against Sevilla.
Yeah, tried to ruin my birthday.
Tried the best, didn't they? But I mean, PSG is just. I think PSG. What I was saying before is PSG are probably the biggest team in the tournament that you would be like. Yeah, Liverpool are still probably better than them.
Yeah,
in that top pot, definitely. Obviously, Lokomotiv Moscow were in there. We could have done that.
They don't count.
But Liverpool could have realistically. I mean, the rest of the group was what was it? City, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Barca, Bayern Munich, Lokomotiv Moscow, and PSG. Yeah. Hey.
Nice.
I mean,
great at memory today, aren't we?
We really are. The rest of them games, you're like Liverpool against PSG. I fancy us.
I definitely fancy us. And
Excuse me.
People saying, "I'll trust us to get the group of death." This has ruined what could have been a great league campaign because it's already going to be so difficult. It's a group of death because we're in it.
Yeah.
Like the comments from a Napoli chairman or president or whatever, he is shitting himself that he's got Liverpool. He's saying that it's an absurd anomaly that the Champions League finalists from last year are in pot 3 and that they've drawn them. Like, he is shaking in his boots at the prospect of facing Liverpool because he knows that we are probably better than Napoli. We're probably better than PSG.
Definitely.
Pot 1 and Pot 2 teams are used to being first and second in their Champions League groups. That is not going to happen in this group. He's not.
Yeah,
We're winning it.
Yeah, you have to,
and he knows it.
You do have to feel bad for them at some point, don't you? Really.
Nah.
you get through the Champions League. You're in the second pot. You expect, as you say, to go through, and then you get Liverpool.
Yeah.
One of them. But yeah, I think
it's all right. It's going to be us and Red Star Belgrade that go through, and PSG and Napoli just one of them drops down into Europa.
Yeah, definitely. So do Liverpool win this group, or do Liverpool finish second in it? If you were to guess now.
If we could play our first 11 at all times in all of these games, I genuinely think we win the group.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we're going to have to navigate, at least the first 2 games, with some difficult Premier League games as well, and then maybe the last game being with United so close. Maybe we drop down to second, but I definitely 100% see us getting out of it. I can't see any possibility that we don't.
Yeah.
Gun to my head, I say we win it, but I'm a little bit nervous about that. What about you?
Yeah, I would probably. I think the big thing for Liverpool is that we play Red Star Belgrade twice back to back.
Yes.
Whereas they play PSG and Napoli will play each other. Yeah. Obviously.
But that means assuming Red Star Belgrade are not pushovers, but the weakest of the group.
Yeah.
That means we can get 6 points on the board in quick succession, and then we've got them then.
And also the games around when we play Red Star Belgrade as well. Huddersfield away, Cardiff at home, Arsenal away, and then Fulham.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Fulham at home. I think with that in mind, Liverpool can comfortably play their strongest 11 in those games and come through them. Whereas we might even rotate for the Premier League games instead in that instance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is going to be a test for the squad, and it is probably about who can take the most points off of PSG. If Liverpool can take more points off PSG or vice versa. I don't want to write Napoli off completely, but you don't really know what they're going to get. They got beat 3-0 at the weekend against Sampdoria. I mean, PSG, they aren't by any means guaranteed to beat us either. I mean, they're playing Marquinhos at centre mid at the moment, and they're playing Angel Di Maria at right wing back. It's a bit all over the place.
It is weird. But the thing is with this, we're talking as if we want our strongest 11 out for the Champions League game. It's going to be interesting to see what Klopp's going to prioritise and whether he really does think we can win this Premier League. So if he does, there will be at least 1 or 2 games where we rest players in the Champions League. And we'll have to see what kind of reaction that gets from the players, what kind of reaction that gets from the fans, and if the results stack up. Because if we do rest players in the Champions League, drop points in there, and then don't win the game immediately before or after it, there'll be murder.
There will be. There will be, but this isn't going to be rotation like it was under Brendan Rodgers for the Champions League. So
it'll be a slightly weaker team, like a Shaqiri in for a Salah, a Fabinho in for a Henderson or a Wijnaldum or whatever.
We go away to Real Madrid under Rodgers, and Fabio Borini starts up front. Steven Gerrard, Raheem Sterling are on the bench. Colo Torre started at centre half, and he wasn't close to being our first choice at the time. Excuse me. I think it's. Yeah, I think we'll see less reaction than we did then.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Probably because it's going to be, it's not going to be as stark a rotation. It's going to be like a gradual rotation, like one player here, one player there. I wouldn't be surprised in these 7 games.
Excuse me, sorry. Carry on.
I wouldn't be surprised if in these 7 games coming up that we don't see the front 3 all on the pitch together until City. I wouldn't be surprised if we just go 2 out of the 3 and then just keep rotating 2 out of the 3, 2 out of the 3, 2 out of the 3. To make it so that at least there's a little bit more match fitness for all of them come the City game.
Sorry.
You were trying so hard.
Yeah,
Die quietly, yeah?
I was trying my best. I really was trying my best. I think they'll play together against PSG. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. So to bookend it really, maybe so Spurs maybe 2 out of the 3, PSG all 3. And then 2 out of the 3 up until City again.
I think we'll call it for this week before I die.
That sounds good.
So I'm going to let Matt do the sign off before I die.
Yeah, Mikey's going to die. Go get a glass of water, lad. I'll do this.
Okay, go on.
Cheers for listening, guys. If you liked what you heard, give us a like on Facebook or a follow on Twitter. Follow us on iTunes, Podbean, Podcast Addict. We're on YouTube as well. Mikey is going absolutely mad over here.
Oh, God.
Not sure. Are we doing one next week with the international break?
We might do. I'll think of something.
Yeah, we'll have a think.
Yeah.
But yeah, cheers for listening again, guys, and give it a share to another Liverpool fan or an Everton fan. Like, make their day.
Yeah,
I think that'd be very nice.
I think he did very well there. Well done, Matt.
Cheers.
I'm alive, I promise. I'm very sorry for coughing for the last 10 minutes of this.
I was making really good points as well.
Yeah, you really were. And I just coughed all over them, and I'm very sorry. I promise I'll be over this next week. I don't know what's going on with my throat, but thank you very much for listening.
Cheers, guys.